child that is suicidal. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Thank you. So I get a phone call when a child or an adult is suicidal. And knock on wood, or plastic, I guess, I've never lost one suicide out of thousands. How many of you have seen Netflix, I'm Not Your Guru, Tony Robbins, I'm Not Your Guru? So that shows what I do in a 6-day program, and that young woman, if you remember, some of you that watched it, who was in that cult that I work with, I was just in Rio de Janeiro 2 weeks ago. I had no idea she was going to be there. She stood up, everybody's cheering for her. She's now written a book. She's got other people out of the cult. She's totally healthy, and they're totally shifting around. So, someday I probably will lose somebody, but fortunately, in 42 years, I've never lost one. And we follow up and do videos and films to show them the lasting change. Because when people change quickly, sometimes people think it won't last. It won't last if it's not conditioned, if it's not shifted. And we show people how to do that. I get the phone call, true story, when the President of the United States calls me and says, Tony, they're going to impeach me in the morning. What should I do? And by the way, I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about Clinton. President Clinton, true story, calls me. I'm 31 years old. They're going to impeach me. What should I do? My first response is, could you call me sooner? It's tomorrow morning. But then having that deadline made me have to figure things out. I was able to help them. And so as that happened, can you imagine, after I got the results over and over again, it started to increase my certainty, make me tap more potential. That's how I learned this. And all of a sudden, I was doing things I thought were impossible. And they were easy. And I know it sounds ridiculous, they weren't easy to start, but once you get momentum, they are easy. How many follow? Say I. And so, I want to start with you right now by addressing a pattern that gets in the way of everybody no one likes to talk about. And here's the pattern. It's called failure. No one likes to talk about failure. Who here in this room has ever failed to achieve something that was really important to you and you failed miserably? Raise your hand and say I. Say I. If you don't raise your hand, you lie about other things too, don't you? Come on. So we've all done that. So here's my question. When you failed to achieve what you wanted most, why did you fail? Yell it out loud for me. Why did you fail? Didn't have enough money, didn't have the capital. I stopped myself. I was fearful. I didn't have enough courage. I didn't have enough courage. Someone else. I didn't have the right technology. Bad habits. I didn't have the right habits. I had bad habits. Someone else. What got in the way? Why did you fail? I procrastinated. I was so fearful. Again, didn't have the courage. What else? I had the wrong people. Sir, I met your people. They said I have the wrong leader. Now, I'm asking this question because it's important to know what caused you to fail if you're going to succeed in the future, right? And most of us don't want to think about it. I was invited to speak, the first time I asked this question, I was invited to speak to this group called TED. I'm sure you're familiar. How many of you are familiar with TED today? In those days, TED was in Northern California. It was only 400 people. When I was there, Steve Jobs was there, the founders of Google. It was a very intimate group. And I was invited by Quincy Jones, who's a famous American producer, who's a friend of mine. He goes, they want you to speak at TED, Tony. And my schedule's so full, and it's like, he goes, Tony, please make time for it. You will love the people there, you will love the experience. So I show up at TED. And the first thing I do is I meet the guy that bought TED. He didn't start it, he bought it. We're good friends now, but we weren't then. And he didn't know who I was. He goes, oh, the motivator has arrived. And I hate that shit, because I've never been a motivator. I don't believe you should just I think motivation's important. I think energy's critical. But without strategy, you're like a chicken with your head cut off, right? So I'm a strategist. So I'm trying to explain this, he doesn't want to hear it. And he says to me, and by the way, you have 18 minutes for your speech. I said, what? He goes, everybody gets 18 minutes. He said, Bill Clinton was on, he went over, we cut his mic off. He said, Bono went over, we cut his mic off. You go over, we cut your mic off. This is so intense. And then I'm watching, and the woman on stage who's speaking is a professor teaching string theory, which if you know anything about it, is one of the most complex subjects in the world. People in the room are rolling their eyes, like this is bullshit. You're giving her 18 minutes to explain string theory. And then the last thing the guy tells me, he goes, I've seen what you do. You get people jumping and stuff. No jumping here. And it's not about jumping. What I'm doing is showing you how to change your biochemistry by using your body. I'll show you in a few minutes what I mean. It's based on science. but he didn't want to hear any of it. So I thought, how do I get him going? And I got 18 minutes and I got to have value. So the first thing I did is I came out and I said, tell me, how many of you ever failed to achieve what you want? No one raised their hand. I said, I know you're out there, I can hear you breathing. Yes, and then in a short time, I got them all of a sudden, yes, raise their hands. So then I asked them, and these are the things they told me. I said, when you failed, why'd you fail? They said, I didn't have enough time. I didn't have enough energy. I didn't have enough capital or money. I lacked the technology. I lacked the education. We didn't have enough research. We had terrible management. We had terrible people. These are the answers they're giving me. And then, this is a really small room, a dark room in Northern California, and in the front row in the dark, I hear a voice say, I didn't have enough Supreme Court justices. And I look down and it's Vice President Al Gore. And the whole room stands up and starts cheering, because Northern California is a liberal environment. They're all cheering for him. And when they're done cheering, I just stood there and I said, that's one way to explain why you didn't become President of the United States, but I think it's inaccurate. And the room did what you did. And I said, let me explain. I said, easy for me, I didn't run for president. But what all of you and most of you did just now too, when I asked you why you failed, you told me a resource you were missing. I didn't have enough money, I didn't have enough time. I was fearful, which means I didn't have enough courage. Think about it. Courage is you're scared, but you do it anyway. If you're not scared, there's no courage, right? So all you're telling me is I was lacking all this stuff, and now you're telling me I have enough Supreme Court justices. And if you're not familiar with it in America, when George W. Bush and the Vice President ran for president, it was so close, they had to go to the Supreme Court to make the final decision, and he lost that. And so I said, ladies and gentlemen, I said, you're all smart enough to know that resources are not the problem. The most successful people in the world don't have the resources. What I love about Israel, you have no resources, but you're resourceful. That is what's made your country one of the most amazing stories on earth, is it not? That's give it up for Israel. Come on! Successful people didn't have the resources, but they got them. And I say that to all of you that are business owners, because the number one thing I hear business owners, I don't have the people yet, I don't have the capital, or I don't have the marketing skill, and you're so busy focused on what you don't have, you're not being resourceful to get what you need. The more you tell me what you don't have, the more trapped you are. But the most successful people on earth are resourceful. What is the ultimate resource? It isn't money, it isn't time, it's human emotion. Emotion is what starts wars. Emotion is what creates peace. Emotion is what gets you laid, gentlemen. Now I got your attention. Emotion is how you have children. Emotion is how anything that matters to you occurs. And we are so trained to think it's our mind, when the truth is, how many of you found that if you want something bad enough emotionally, you can find a way to justify it mentally? How many find this to be true? Say, ah. So, emotion is the ultimate resource. If you're creative enough, that's an emotion. If you're creative enough, can you find the answers to your problem? Yes or no? Yes or no? If you're determined enough, can you get the money even though you don't have it? Yes or no? If you are committed enough, can you get other people to help you? Yes or no? If you care for others, can you get them to care about you? Yes or no? See, human emotion is where it is, and where most of us are is we're not emotionally fit anymore. We've gotten used to being a certain way, instead of having the kind of strength, the passion, the determination, the decisiveness that give you anything you want in your life. Now let me show you this isn't just me talking motivationally. Let's look at an example, throw up on the screen here. Walmart. Most of you are familiar with Walmart? If you saw or read any of the financial newspapers around the world back in 1974, you'd see Walmart had 78 stores. Sears, big retailer, at 851. Kmart, 1,326. Kmart and Sears were 65 times bigger than Walmart. And the Wall Street Journal, if you read the London Times, they all said, sell Walmart. Why? Because he's out of resources. He has no more capital. Plus, he did all his original openings of his stores in the U.S., in the southern part of the U.S., and people in the north said, we're never going to buy those cheap, lousy things. We don't want those kinds of stores. They all said sell. But what they didn't understand was that Sam Walton was one of the most resourceful human beings you could ever meet. He would get his people excited to get up 3:30 in the morning, drive 2.5 hours to another city, buy all the products at the cheapest price, drive 2.5 hours back, stock the stores, open at 10 a.m. That was not a money advantage. That was his ability to make his people resourceful. How many follow here? Say, ah. And guess what? He changed the world. Where's Sears today? Bankrupt. Where's Kmart today? Bankrupt. Where's Walmart today? Well, Walmart today has 11,000 stores worldwide. They're doing $476 billion. That's, by the way, is a $500 billion with a T in business per year. Other than Amazon, those two are the leaders on the face of the earth. And this is a man they all said was out of resources, but he didn't think he was resourceful. In fact, if you would have put a $1,000 investment in Walmart in 1974 when they all said sell, and you didn't add one penny to it, it's worth $25 million today. That's the power of resourcefulness. So if you want a business, raise your hand if you want a business. Let me see. If you want a business, your number one story you've got to stop is, stop, we don't have the resources. Stop that from your vocabulary. Don't let your people do it anymore. I even do this in my companies, because people say, oh, we can't do this, we can't. You can do anything if you're creative enough, if you're resourceful enough, if you care enough, if you're decisive enough. How many buy this? Say ah. Now, if you want to know how to do it, because some of you came for business, some came for personal, let me give you a quick business lesson. I have now 54 companies. We do $6 billion US a year in more than a dozen different industries. I've got about 2,500 employees on 4 continents. And I'm right now in the middle of a 9-country, 11-week tour. So, and this is the easiest thing I do. It's 3.5, 4 hours. I don't do a lot of these. I do these so I can pop into places, parts of the world and get a chance to meet people and interact with them. So when I'm doing that, I gotta manage all those companies. How do I make them grow? I make them grow by understanding 2 principles, please jot them down. And they're tied to success in anything. If you want to be more successful in your business, I'll give you an example. In my country, I have a friend named Tony Shea. And Tony runs a company called Zappos. I've probably not heard of it. Anybody heard of Zappos here? Oh, quite a few of you. So Zappos is a company that was designed in 2000 to sell shoes to women online. Now I want you to remember, where were you in 1999? Where were you living? What were you doing for a living? Do you remember when 1999 was about to come 2000? What was everybody worried about? Y2K was going to destroy the earth. Remember that? The media is so good at creating fear, okay? How many remember where you were back in 99, 2000? So if I came to you in 1999 or 2000 and said, hey, I got an opportunity for you to invest in. So we're starting a company called Zappos, and we're going to sell shoes to women online. What would you have said back in 2000? Come on. Would you invest, yes or no? Yes or no? Which one? Come on. No way in hell. Why not? Because you'd say, what? What's the problem? They got to put them on. So you go, yeah, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to sell them the shoes. They buy as many as they want. We'll ship them to them. They can try them on. If they don't like them, then they can ship them back. And sales were nothing. The company was going bankrupt. And so there was 4 guys working in this little, they made it into an office. It was an apartment in San Francisco. And they're going bankrupt. They raised a bunch of money because a lot of people got excited about it, but they weren't executed. And then my buddy Tony Shea came along. And he knew 2 things that I teach. He said, listen to me. He said, you only need 2 things to make this business succeed. Here they are, jot them down. Number 1, you need to know who is your ideal customer. Who is your ideal customer, not who is your current customer. Who's a customer that will buy the most from you, who will refer the most business to you? Who's the person when the economy gets tough, they're still gonna buy from you. They've got the capital to do it. Who is your ideal customer, instead of just focusing on any customer? And then once you know who your ideal customer is, you need to know, what do they love? What do they hate? What excites them? What's the pain in their life? The more you know about what they desire and what they fear, the more you can meet their needs. I always tell people, life is the dance between what you desire most and what you fear most. People live there. If you want to expand your life, reduce your fear, expand your desires, your life gets strong. Make sense? So he said to them, here's the good news. You have the ideal customer for shoes. It's women. That's who you're selling to. Men don't give a shit about shoes. Some do, but most don't. I wear the same friggin' shoes all the time. But ladies, how many of you link shoes to happiness in some way? Make some noise if it's true, ladies. Come on. A woman can put on one shoe, she's one woman. She puts another shoe, she's a whole other woman. Is it true, ladies? Come on, make some noise, let men hear you. So my friend Tony Shea said, you got the ideal customer. You just need to know more about them. And one thing you're not understanding is that your current offer is not strong enough. The second thing you need, jot it down, to grow your business, an irresistible offer. You need to come up with an irresistible offer that's so good, people say, I gotta try it. And I can't pass this up. And by the way, once they try it, you gotta over-deliver. You I'm going to add